So we were around each other 24/7, and then all of a sudden that ends. So I Googled whether there were accidents nearby, because I know he was in with his motorcycle. I went to that spot and I saw his bike laying there.
Wow.
And luckily he was already gone. It was a life quake, I would say. I think I have grown a lot since then.
It must have been frightening for you sometimes to feel like life can end suddenly.
Well, I think kids do make you very vulnerable, period. If you have kids, you know how vulnerable they make you. Sometimes you stand on the sidelines and there's nothing you can do. To me, it doesn't feel right that when you hit murky waters, the first thing you do is cut weight, tell people to go home. Amsterdam has this mentality of we are Amsterdam, you know. And, yeah, I don't know what I feel about that. Oh, we got a visitor here. Hello.
Hello, you want to be on the podcast? Hey, Bart, nice to see you.
I see you too.
Thank you.
Long time ago.
Yeah, long time ago. Let's go for a walk and talk. So, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, actually. Yeah. Weather's great.
Weather's good.
Not too much of that here, so.
Yeah. So, just for our viewers, we are in Amsterdam, Sebas. This is Bart Deuss.
Hi.
And you will find out why I really like this guy. But stay tuned, and we will talk about his life. So Bart, you are having your own company right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Can you take me quickly through that journey about finish?
Quickly through that journey.
Yeah, quickly, because I know a lot of things happen. But let me just say, you came to Amsterdam. You came from Nijmegen. You grew up in Nijmegen.
Yeah. Together with your brother.
Together with my brother.
And you, actually.
And me as well. And you came to Amsterdam, and now you have conquered the city. So tell me what happened in between.
I wouldn't say that, but well, it's been quite a journey. I came here in, I think it was 2009. Yeah. Another friend from Nijmegen, Rob, started his own company here. Yeah. Called Yaworks. So 2009 I came here. Yeah. And on an invite of Rob. Okay. And Rob was a friend of my brother, so he was in the same class as my brother. Okay. And he called me, and we had started a company during our college years, which actually never made any money, but we. What was that company? Just out of curiosity. It was Wennekes. It was called Wennekes, and you could customize your own clothing online. Okay. So back then it was pretty innovative, I would say. You guys were like ahead of your time. Well, we too much ahead, I would say, because we never made any money. But we did learn that we worked well together. Yeah. So when he asked me to join this Yaworks, which was a contracting firm actually, so IT contracting. Yeah. I didn't know what contracting was. I didn't understand the concept really, but it felt like a nice adventure. Yeah. So that's what made me decide to go. And so that was 2009. First I went back and forth between Nijmegen and Amsterdam. Yeah, how was that? That's tough, because when you run a startup, you have no life basically. Yeah, you're spending a lot of time in the office. You spend a lot of time in the office, and you are commuting like 2 hours single trip. So that's an extra 4 hours onto already very long days. Yeah. So that didn't really work out. So I decided to move to Amsterdam together with my former girlfriend. And so that's how we got you in Amsterdam. That's what got me in Amsterdam. Yeah. Okay. And then the company grew pretty fast. Yeah. And now we have like what is it? I think 150 people working. Wow. For us in Yaworks. Yeah. Next to Yaworks, we do IT infrastructure. So we build complex infrastructures for customers worldwide, basically. Yeah. Pretty successfully, I would say. We're a top 3 firm here in the Netherlands. Yeah. And we help our customers transform their legacy infrastructures to modern modern infrastructures that help them innovate and be secure, which is a big thing nowadays. And that's one of the companies I'm involved with. So a lot has happened in between.
Yeah.
But this is the summary of the summary.
Okay. Yeah, I asked for it and I got it. So I will jump on your other companies soon, but I want to take a moment to ask you a question about your friend. He's not with us anymore, right?
No, he isn't.
Yeah. How was that for you? I believe you were waiting for him to meet him, and he was driving on his bike.
Yeah.
And then he entered into an accident, and it ended up being fatal.
Yeah.
How did you feel at that time, and how do you feel now about this?
Well, at that time, it's like your day wife, right?
Yeah.
So Rob and me were best friends.
Yeah.
First and foremost.
Yeah.
And business partner second.
Yeah.
So this is someone you see like every day, all day. We went on holidays together. We built our homes pretty close to each other.
Yeah.
So we were around each other 24/7, and then all of a sudden that ends. And I was waiting for him together with another colleague for a lunch meeting.
Yeah.
So he didn't show up, and I got this really funny feeling like something's up. So So I couldn't eat anymore.
Yeah.
And I'm not really into all this spiritual things, but somehow I felt that something is really off.
Wow.
And so I Googled whether there were accidents nearby, because I know he was with his motorcycle.
You actually Googled that?
Yeah.
On the spot.
So I saw a trauma heli being called. So I went to that spot and I saw his bike laying there.
Wow.
And luckily he was already gone. But then you just enter a horror movie, really. It's just the trauma doctor called me, so I was in his phone probably as a ICE number.
Yeah.
And they called me and said very bad news. I was still sitting at that site waiting for news. And so they said, we have very bad news. He's no longer with us. He couldn't make it.
Wow.
Yeah, so that was a dark period, because not only do you lose your best friend, but you also we run this show together.
Yeah.
And then he was the CEO, right? I joined him, so he was the first in command. So in a business, and you probably know this, people do business with people, right? So they choose him to work with, and then all of a sudden the second in line has to take the helm and take over while you're grieving for your best friend. So that's been a tough situation, because you don't know if you can. I doubted myself. Can I do this?
Yeah.
And I think I also thought the whole world around me doubted me. So I was pretty insecure about that. But gradually over time that changed. And I remember we had our 10th year anniversary in October that year, so he passed away in June. And we had a trip with the whole company for the first time. We would take the whole company abroad to celebrate 10 years. So I decided to go on with that, so to not cancel and to do that trip, because I felt we really needed it. And something there changed. I gave a speech on the special night we do on Saturday night, with everybody celebrating what we've achieved so far. But obviously the atmosphere was really different, because Rob just passed away like 2.5 years ago. So everybody's feeling that he's being missed. So I gave a speech and really addressed that as well. And the whole support that I felt and the warmth that I felt from all these people started making me also believe that I could do it, and that they had my back, and that they were really supportive of me being in the CEO role. So that that's when everything started to change in terms of my confidence that I could actually run it in a decent way.
Yeah, but I understand it was a sudden moment that you needed to take over. The only thing that I remember when I grew up with you was that you always had this confidence inside.
Yeah.
And you know, some of us were not focused, but you were always focused. You're like, Bart is gonna make something out of himself. So when you became successful, I was like, you know, it was as clear as water for me always that would happen. Did you not feel the same when you were growing up?
Well, I had a drive. I recognize the fact that the focus, I always wanted to make something out of, be something.
Yeah.
Be relevant. And I think I usually was pretty confident, especially in elementary school and in the first couple of years of high school. But also I think that kind of changed in the last years of high school, so I had to reinvent myself a little bit. So I think I got back to who I am.
Yeah.
But I got astray also for a bit.
Yeah. But I understand this was a big thing at that moment, especially. So I'm curious. How do you reflect back on that time now? Because now. I think 10 years have passed.
Mm-hmm. No,
almost
6.
6. Oh,
6.
6.
This
okay.
was 2018, so
2018.
it's going to be 6 years this June.
6 years. Okay. Apologies for that.
No worries.
So it's going to be 6 years now, almost. How do you look back on that difficult time and that marked your life at that time? How do you look back on that now?
It was a life quake, I would say, and I think I have grown a lot since then. So if life throws you this awful curveball, then you have to deal with it one way or the other. So you can either step away and feel very like a victim, or you try to make something out of the situation. And I guess I did make something of it. It forced me to develop myself, basically. So I grew a lot since then in confidence and leadership and also enjoyment of life, basically, because you get confronted with how suddenly it can end. So it also teaches you to value what you have. Yeah. And so it's. I think this was the most terrible thing that happened to me, and the best thing that has happened to me. So I think the best word for that, you have this movie. It's called Collateral Beauty. Mm-hmm. And when I look back at the last 6 years, I would say collateral beauty. So it was a mess. It was an awful period, but had developed into something really, really great. Yeah, these are moments that define you in life, and at the same time, you know, you're a father of 3 beautiful children. It must have been frightening for you sometimes to feel like life can end suddenly. Well, I think kids do make you very vulnerable, period. Yeah. I mean, regardless if you have been through something like this or not. I mean, if you have kids, you know how vulnerable they make you, because when something is really wrong with them, you know, it's not about me. And sometimes you stand on the sidelines and there is nothing you can do when or a kid is hospitalized or whatever. So I'm not sure if you've been through those kind of things, but it just, everything stops. It's very clear what the priorities are when that happens. Have you been through such events? Yeah, with my oldest, she got hospitalized, and they wanted to make sure that she didn't have Hodgkin or pancreas cancer, which luckily she hadn't. Wow! But when you hear that, it's like everything stops. I stopped functioning. So yeah, kids make you really vulnerable.
Yes, and how is it to balance this between your busy life with multiple companies, and then you're also a father,
Yeah.
and they also want papa time.
Yeah. Well, I think when I started out, when I did a really shitty job at that.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Don't be so hard on yourself.
Well, I did. The priorities were with work.
Yeah.
And I think over time that shifted. I was very young when I became a dad, and I wasn't really ready for that back then. I didn't want it really. Mm-hmm. But yeah, once they're there, you cannot not love them. I mean, nature has found a way to make that happen.
Yeah.
And I think I've separated with my ex.
Yeah.
So we have the kids 50-50. And I think that was also a life changer, because now I am the one running the show, also at home. So you take ownership of being there and actually being there, because I was there, but you can be somewhere else in your mind.
Yeah.
Because you're being preoccupied with all the other stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
And you probably recognize this.
100%.
So I think now, because there's no one else to fall back on, that exit to whatever is going on in your life is not there anymore, because they demand you to be there.
It's game time.
Yeah. So that's really, I think that's a very good thing that happened to me, because my connection with the kids is so much better. And they're still young. So my oldest is 12, the middle one is 10, who is almost as big as you already. And
you're just
6.
big.
Yeah. So luckily I found a way to really be in touch with them and have a very good connection. So I'm really happy with that.
So can you give me an example of a moment where normally you will not take charge at home, but now you set the program, you say how it goes?
Yeah, it's just, I mean, my ex, she is oh, we got a visitor here. Hello.
Hello, you want to be on the podcast?
Yeah, my ex was really, hoe noem je dat, zorgzaam?
Yeah.
She took care of everything. She run the whole household.
Yeah.
And so it was very possible for me to be passive in that situation and drift off to wherever my mind took me.
Yeah.
And now it's not. I have to do the dishes. I have to do the cleaning. Well, I have a cleaning lady, so. But I have to run the household, and that's pretty mindful actually. To be in the moment, just making their lunch boxes for school.
And you cannot forget, Bart. You cannot forget. You cannot send them without food to school.
Well, you can actually.
Yeah, you can, but then
after a couple of times, you get frowned upon. You know.
The teacher is calling you. What kind of a father are you?
Yeah. So it's those basics that it's actually demanded that you are in that moment.
Yeah. I get you on that. I'm to focus and be in that moment. It makes a difference a lot, and I'm glad you managed to get out of it and connect better with your children, because there's a big stigma about it that it's not possible. It's also maybe do you tell people when you work, like, guys, I'm sorry, I need to leave now. I got 3 kids at home.
I mean, I do co-parenting, so I have 50% of the time I have the kids, so I have to be home to take care of them, and so everybody knows.
Do you do some cooking?
I do some cooking. Yeah, who wouldn't know? But yeah, I do some cooking, and I actually do everything in the house.
Yeah.
And I have a wonderful girlfriend that's also taking care of a lot of the tasks that are associated with it. So yeah, I found new balance, I'd say.
So when I was growing up, I had this period when we were in high school. I says again. Hey, you want to also join? We're just getting doggies as visitors. And multiple times the bigger guys, you know how it is, the typical high school, they will come to you and bother you.
Yeah.
And you were friends with my brother. So I will come to my brother, I'm like, hey, these guys are bothering me. And then you will be like, who?
Yeah.
Show me who. And then I'll walk with you and like, that guy. And then you would talk with them and like, hey, you don't mess with this guy, otherwise you mess with me.
Yeah, well, that's...
Finished, you know. So, you know, you had the black belt in karate and you were tall, you know. So one of the things I wanted to ask you is that you had such a passion for karate when you grew up. One is, do you still do karate? And what are lessons that you learned in karate that you have been able to apply in your life?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, it's a long time ago. I don't practice anymore, so it's a pretty long time ago. I do like combat sports, so boxing or kickboxing or MMA.
You're competitive.
I really like the one-on-one aspect of it because there's nothing else.
Okay.
It's you, and you have to face your fears and be in the moment and try to be relaxed in a very stressful situation, which is I think something that can apply to a lot of different situations where when you keep your calm, you are much more aware of what's going on around you and anticipate way better than when you're fully on stress.
Yeah.
So yeah, and the stigma around combat sports is really something that bothers me because in Holland, especially in Holland, kickboxing has a really bad reputation with associated with criminals and bums fighting, and it's quite the opposite. So it's very disciplined, it's very respectful, with one of my business partners, I set out to change that perspective on what combat sports is. So I have an MMA promotion. No, I'm not sure if you're aware of that, but and we are being broadcasted in 15 different countries already. Wow. And the atmosphere when you go to an event, it's like you go into a theater. You see women, you see children. It's really different from what we're used to here. So it's also about setting a good example, I'd say, on what this can be, because it's top sport. If you practice MMA, almost anything goes. When that door closes of that cage, it's you and him, and it's really a hard sport. So yeah, I have nothing but respect for the guys that are reaching a high level in that. That's amazing. And
do you miss it?
Not so much. I'm too old, man.
Come on, you're never too old.
No, but the competitive side, the playful side of boxing, I miss. But I switched to just fitness because the return on investment in time versus what happens with your body is way better. Yeah. For me, so I just use sport to keep sane in my head as well.
Yeah, I know it's very important, and I think especially with a busy life, you need to get rid of the negativity and
get out of your head.
Yeah,
get out of your head.
Yeah. I mean, if you're injured for like 2 months, have you been injured for some?
Oh, many times.
Yeah.
But and I think still. So if you would compete at a high level, you would be injured a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's part of the journey. I'd say.
And then when you have an injury, you cannot sport, and like your routine is broken.
Yeah.
And that really hurts.
Yeah, and especially when you are under a lot of stress.
Yeah.
The first things that go out of the window are self-care.
Yeah.
So you start eating bad.
Yeah.
You start maybe drinking alcohol. Yeah. You stop working out, and that's the first thing that goes out the window when you need it the most.
Yeah.
So humans are basically wired pretty wrongly, I'd say, because the things you need most, you stop with first. So injuries, they are a fact of life, and also I'm not I'm not an athlete, but there's always something you can do.
Yeah.
So, and I think you should be careful not to treat your injuries as an excuse not to do something else.
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty bad injured a while back.
What did you have?
I had this muscle here was like torn or something in that, and I had a trip booked to Nepal for a long trek, 12 days. In the end, I went and wrapped in. I'm like, I make it up
I'm gonna go.
or not. And in the end, it worked out. But the 2 months almost, or 3 months, I could not walk normally.
So your Sherpa carried you up?
No.
Oh.
But I did go very slow, and then suddenly, it worked out. I taped everything in. But for 2 to 3 months, I was not able to squash, do anything, run, nothing.
Yeah.
And my whole body and my energy was just different. So I know exactly what you mean, that you really need this. It's all about balance in life.
Yeah.
So coming back to maybe a couple of times asking it from a different angle is, but how do you feel you are balancing your life now?
I think balance, if you hear balance, it's like a word that een zelfstandig naamwoord.
Yeah.
I don't know the.
Yeah, it's a standalone.
Yeah, but it's something that you have to work at all the time. So balance is something you do, not something you are. In my.
I like that. I like
in
that.
my book, because.
Yeah.
I mean, life throws things at you that throws you off balance, and you need to work towards a balance again. And it's always a balancing act. So. Yeah, I do feel unbalanced.
Yeah.
But yeah, the 1 week more than the other.
Okay.
So it's.
Okay, yeah, I like that it's a continuous process. I agree with that. I fully agree with that, because especially during that time I did acupuncture, I got a coach, another coach, I got like a whole team around me just to help me
Find balance.
Find balance, because I could not do certain things. And but it's also like you say, like right now you feel you're in the moment, you're good, but you also could get a phone call tomorrow or something happens, and something in one of the core units shifts. And then what do you do then?
Well, recently, I mean, my company, after Rob passed away, I think after 2 years, we kind of doubled or even tripled.
Yeah.
So we skyrocketed, and the company really got some upgrades, and that went on for 3-4 years in a row, just being successful, winning everything, growing, and then all of a sudden the market shifts, and things change. And the one thing that you thought was a given, I mean, if you're doing consecutive record year after record year after record year, that becomes your new normal. So it's pretty easy to mistake that for that's just how it's going to be for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden everything changes, and then that really required me to find new balance with all these stress factors of not being able to score the right deals, not getting the growth, even seeing your business being in a decline for a bit. It requires you to rebalance. So I had that a couple of weeks ago, that we're in some murky waters now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's again about finding ways to deal with it without stressing out completely.
I like that. I really like that. There's a couple of things what I want to jump on is that one, what threw off the company trajectory of growth? What was that one thing that changed, the main thing?
Well, I think it's always a combination of factors. That I think one of our big contracts suddenly was terminated due to a takeover.
Yeah.
And we had some long-lasting engagements that were also suddenly terminated. And for new business development, so our existing business was crumbling a little bit.
Yeah.
And new business development was really hard because a lot of companies are investing less. So that's what we see, especially in the Netherlands, is that the companies are more careful with their investments, which makes it harder for us to do new business. So existing business down, new business not able to bridge that gap, so you're in a decline. So it's a combination of factors that happened.
Did that mean you needed to let people go?
Not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Yeah.
And I'm also not a really, I wouldn't say I'm a stereotype businessman, because we have 4 core values within Yaworks. One of them is people over profit.
Yeah.
So
I like that.
We did a very good first quarter.
Yeah.
And now we're at a loss. But we made so much money in the last years that, to me, it doesn't feel right that when you hit murky waters, the first thing you do is cut weight, tell people to go home. It's not right. In my book, it's not right. So yes, you have to build a business that is able to deal with the circumstances.
Yeah.
But it's not the first thing you do that the people that brought you success send them home.
I like that. I really like that, and I don't see that a lot. Actually, I see that very rarely. And one of the things I actually wanted to ask you is, like, what kind of a leader is Bart? How would they describe you? How do you see yourself, and how do other people see you?
We recently had a 15-year anniversary, and they made a video for me, and they all talked about me. And
I want to see that video.
One of the question was, what kind of animal would you compare Bart with? And everybody said he's this friendly bear, you know, and a hippo. One someone said, but that's besides the point. You know, so what kind of leader am I? I think I'm very gentle, I would say.
Yeah.
I have a deep trust in people, and I try to coach people to be able to do a fantastic job themselves, and to build also value and self-value in the people I work with, because I believe that's a big driver for success. You really feel valued, you have a purpose, you have you feel that you have people around you that help you and support you. I think that carries a long way. So I don't know the word for it, coaching, leadership.
I don't know either, but I like what people said, the way they described it. So did you see yourself when you started Yaworks that you will be a big Care Bear?
A big what?
That you will be a big Care Bear. Did you envision?
No. Because I used to think leadership was about being tough and hey, sales results are down. What are you doing? Let's go. But it's not about that. I stopped believing in that because I see that people block. So if you put full stress on them, it's not. It doesn't help anything. And it boils down to the fact, do you trust your people or not?
Yeah.
So, and if you don't trust them, why are they there?
I like it.
So,
I like it. Look, this is all music to my ears, and I know that is the right way. It's just that, like in America, they don't care how you make your money. If you make your money, even stealing it, you're a smart guy.
Yeah.
Once you become a billionaire, you're unquestionable.
Yeah.
But in my opinion, my personal view is every day you need to look in the mirror.
Yeah.
What do you see in your own eyes? How did you gain your money?
Yeah, I agree.
Can you sleep at night? Can you look your children in the eye? Can they see a role model?
Yeah. And I think the measures of success are pretty poor.
Yeah.
So when your only measure of success is money, then what kind of life is that?
Yeah.
So money is a hygiene factor in business. I do think that businesses should make money, because how do you provide for your people? How do you provide for their perspectives? So it's a hygiene factor.
Yeah.
But work is far more than that, because you spend a lot of your time there. So you better enjoy yourself and be surrounded by people you feel inspired by or motivated with or have fun with. I mean, if not that, what are you doing?
100%. Now, just to jump a little bit back on one point, you said I was in the beginning. I was all about sales and business, and that's also like the Bart I knew. You will go in, and you will go in. But now you've become this big Care Bear. What was the determining factor that you shifted from that style towards the Care Bear style?
I think a lot of it actually boils down to self-confidence and trust.
Yeah.
So self-confidence in a way that if you don't, it's very easy to think that people are not doing what you are telling them to do. Mm-hmm. And so you feel dismissed.
Yeah.
Right. So you're not taken seriously.
Yeah.
Well, this is not. If that is your ground overtuiging.
Belief.
If that's your belief, then you would act on it.
Yeah.
So why you're not doing this?
Yeah.
But when you take a step back and are relaxed and not being concerned with your ego, and just, hey, I see the results are down. What's going on?
Yeah.
You get into a really different conversation, because it's not about you disrespecting me and just slacking. It's about you struggling with something because you want to achieve something.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you don't need me to press on the fact that you are not able to deliver at this point.
Yeah.
You need me to help you get to that point again.
Yeah.
And I don't do that by pressuring you. So growing my self-confidence in, I don't feel that people are disrespecting me like that anymore.
Yeah.
Well, disrespect is not the right word, but it's like not being taken seriously.
I know.
I have to be the boss. I have to be strong.
Micromanaging.
I've learned that it doesn't bring any value whatsoever.
Yes, I'm with you on that. You need to give a lot of space, but some people cannot handle space as well.
That might. But then my management style, and I'm not a manager. I wouldn't describe myself as a manager. I have a great board of directors, and we lead.
Yeah.
But managing is, I have a micromanagement association with that. And some people struggle with being productive on their own.
Yeah.
So they need help.
I agree. I want to ask you a question. Mm-hmm. Is Amsterdam big enough for you? Let's take a walk up.
I would say so. I would say it's not about big, right? I think for our business, it's normal to go abroad.
Yeah.
But I don't have the ambition to run a big corporation, because I'd like to know the people I'm working with. And it's still about the people and not only about bottom line. And I'm in a smaller scale company, it's easier to keep that alive.
Yeah.
So like 300-400 people is big enough for me.
Okay. So you have approximately 150 people now, so there's still some space to grow.
Yeah. Especially in quality and the types of engagement that we do.
Yeah.
And that's a nice journey still ahead of us. Yeah.
Yeah. And just from another perspective, mm-hmm. I wanted to ask you also, like, we know each other from Nijmegen. Mm-hmm. Don't you miss it sometimes?
No. Well, I miss the not worrying part.
Yeah.
You have zero responsibilities.
Yeah.
So being a kid is great.
Yeah.
Right. So I miss that, especially the first 3 years in high school.
Yeah.
When I was in the same class as your brother.
Yeah.
I think when I look back, that was maybe the most fun part of my childhood.
Yeah.
It was so great.
Yeah.
It was so we had so many good friends, and that was really a nice time. But no, Nijmegen, I'm not. I don't miss.
Yeah.
I don't miss.
No, I know. I feel you on that. I mean, I know how it is once you live somewhere else. Your perspective changes, and it's not like you're ready to go back into a life that you said goodbye to.
No, it's no. My life is here now.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty happy with Amsterdam. It's also a very small place.
Yeah.
I think especially when you compare it to Dubai.
Yeah.
I've did my thesis in Dubai, so
Yeah.
I've lived there for a couple of months,
Okay.
which I like it, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't see myself living there.
Yeah.
Somehow.
Yeah.
So Amsterdam is nice. It's small, but it's still a world,
Yeah.
a city of the world. You know.
And nobody would say Amsterdam is not nice, believe me.
Yeah, no, I know, but maybe not for the reasons I like it. Yeah.
No, okay, but yeah, of course you live here, you have your business here. But what I was also meaning with Amsterdam is maybe is Amsterdam, Netherlands big enough for you? Is that if I know you a little bit, like you always have plans and ideas, and and sometimes those ideas and those plans can take you outside of Netherlands as well.
Yeah, if that's, I mean, I would see myself living abroad because of climate.
Yeah.
Especially. But maybe that happens. I have kids now. I'm tied to the Netherlands, and I mean the international business side does attract me. I really like to go abroad, and that's what we do already with the company. We have a lot of multinationals we work for. So yeah, the international side of doing business I really like. We work for multinationals already.
Yeah.
So our BHAG, our big, hairy, audacious goal is that we set the standard for digital sustainable infrastructure worldwide. So that requires us to go abroad. But having offices in all different kinds of countries, I don't really see that now.
Yeah.
So who knows in the future?
But international business, traveling maybe to some other places, do some business there.
Yeah. No, I'm open to. I'm open to definitely. But I still feel we have some position to win in the Netherlands, and I do believe in focus.
Yeah.
So let's do that first, and we'll see after.
Okay. Yeah. And is there something you are working on now that you are excited about, or is there something a project maybe you want to share with me?
There are multiple things that I'm excited about, but I don't think I can already tell you something about it.
Okay.
But there are always irons in the fire, so I'm always developing new angles and new things. So there are some things coming up.
Okay. Well, we will keep an eye on you, and if something special happens, we will just call you back and we talk about it.
And I give you a trip to Amsterdam, right?
Yes, you did. So is that a deal?
Yeah, that's a deal.
If something nice happens, we talk again?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, but let's walk back to your car, and I will say goodbye to you.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Any nice plans for the coming period? Maybe are you planning to go with the children somewhere, with the family, or for business?
No, the summer holiday we're going to a campsite in Croatia somewhere.
Okay.
Which for the kids is campsite is the nicest thing because they make friends really easy.
Yeah.
And all we need is some sun, right?
Yeah. And one of the things you mentioned to me is that you really like sun.
Yeah, I do.
If you really like sun, I know it's sunny
Dubai.
in the Netherlands now.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying Dubai, but
it's like 4 days a year. It's like this.
Yeah. What would be a nice place where you would like to live in the sun?
Ooh. Yeah, I have a thing for the Caribbean.
Okay.
I really like it, but I also like Miami. It's also a nice spot. I'd see myself living a couple of months a year.
Yeah.
Or somewhere in Italy or Spain.
Okay, but you said Caribbean first.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Any specific place in the Caribbean, or just the Caribbean life?
Yeah, the Caribbean life. So living outside.
Yeah.
Relaxed.
Yeah.
So the pace here is pretty high.
Yeah.
So I would say relaxed.
Yeah.
And the beaches and the sea is beautiful there.
Yeah.
So what can
Yeah,
I
you
say?
know,
I'm a sucker for a good beach.
I've lived 8 months in the Caribbean. I know what you mean. And
Yeah.
you know, I was 22, 23 at the time, and I had a choice. They said, "Do you want to stay here?"
Yeah,
And I was on this island, Bonaire, and I was like, I was looking around. I just saw people like they were the whole life there. Some people I spoke with
Yeah.
never left even the island.
Yeah.
They didn't even go to another island. And I was just envisioning. I had this, I don't know, this vision, like fast forward how my life would be in the island. I was like, no.
No, it's not gonna happen.
Maybe when I'm 70 or something
Yeah.
like this. But no. I still need to make something out of my life, you know.
Yeah,
Not to
well,
say-
then the question is, what is making something out of your life?
Yeah,
What does it mean, you know? So
yeah,
I think it's better to scratch itches. So
Yeah.
if you have an itch to leave, then
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
good to
exactly.
leave.
Yeah,
But ultimately, if you have your friends and family and good food
yeah,
and being able to be in the moment,
yeah.
then that's wealth right there.
But you're fully right on that, and I've seen that the urge was just coming more from the sense that I just saw people being very passive and enjoying their life all the time.
Yeah.
Like you know, 2 p.m. it's time for a beer. You know, we wake up at 10 a.m. You know.
What's wrong with that?
Nothing. But it's nice as if it's a choice. When you go on a holiday, you have it for a short period of time. But when you're living it as a routine,
Yeah.
then you become maybe alcoholic or
Yeah.
not much comes out of it. So
Yeah.
that is what.
No, I can
yeah,
imagine.
yeah.
I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
I haven't lived that life for
Yeah.
longer than a couple of weeks of holiday.
Yeah.
So people that know me tell me that I'm not good out for that.
Okay.
because-
yeah. I can
because
tell
I-
you will be restless.
Yeah, I get bored and I want
Yes.
to create things and
yeah.
So,
they're
yeah.
right. They're right. Yeah.
who knows?
Yeah.
But I do not agree with them.
No, I agree with them 100%.
okay,
I
okay.
think you will be just walking back and forward on the beach and you're like, I gotta do something, gotta go someplace.
Yeah, could be.
It's no, but it's a nice it's a nice place to really be in a moment and to enjoy, and you know, and the vibe is undescribable. You've seen it yourself, and
Yeah,
you
that's
feel
really
it.
nice.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
really nice.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
yeah, I've just been to the Maldives. That's
Yeah.
also. Have you ever been?
No, I've not been there
That
yet.
is
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Very beautiful. But it's
But for me, the most beautiful city in the world is still Nijmegen.
yeah. Are you
Just-
serious?
No, I'm just joking. No, I was fooled.
Something happened with you in Dubai.
I was fooled my wife's like, you know, the most beautiful city is always Nijmegen.
But I do feel a bond with Nijmegen.
Yeah.
So that's not.
Yeah.
Is it this way or that way?
Well, we can go both ways. I follow you.
Let's do it that
yeah.
way.
Okay. Let's go that way. So yeah. I mean, are you? Yeah. I mean, Amsterdam it's a beautiful city to live in, to work in. But the weather, yeah, I feel you on that. I feel you on
Yeah,
that.
and that's always high paced. So
Yeah.
and yeah, I would say also people are not always that friendly.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you see that abroad a lot more.
Yeah.
That people are very
Yeah.
welcoming and
Yeah.
warm, and
Yeah.
Amsterdam has this mentality of I'm not sure
Well,
how
we
to
are
explain,
Amsterdam.
but we are Amsterdam, you know, and yeah, I don't know what I feel about that.
Yeah. You're like, no, we are Nijmegen. No, I'm
Yeah.
joking.
We're in Nijmegen, yeah. I think this is the car park, by the way.
Yeah. That's the car park. So yeah, I mean, it's At the same time, you're also in a part of your life. I'm talking with you in your 30s now. Although
yeah.
people think, you know, he's in his 20s, but you know, he's in his 30s.
30s. This is the last year we can say that, because
Yeah.
I just got 39.
Yeah. Are you feeling a little bit anxious about turning 40?
No, I always make jokes about it, but I don't.
It's just a number, right?
It's just a number, and I'm happy with where I am.
Yeah.
I have beautiful kids. I have a
You're blessed.
lovely girlfriend. I have some successful businesses.
Yeah.
And I enjoy what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not worried.
Yeah, you're alive.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. That's good, and as long as you keep feeling that way, that's what matters.
Yeah, exactly. And that keeps you young as well.
Yeah.
So would you imagine living a life that you have to work day in, day out to a job that you don't like,
Yeah.
coming home to a wife that you don't like?
Yeah.
It's awful.
I
It's
know.
awful.
I know. It's
That gets, you grow old pretty fast.
exactly. But thank you, buddy. And it was
Thank you.
lovely conversation.
Yeah, nice to meet you here in Amsterdam for
I
once.
came for you, man.
Last time we met was in Qatar.
Last time in Qatar, in a World Cup, we bumped into each other.
Yeah, how crazy was that?
Yeah. You're like, hey, I think I heard the voices. I remember.
Sick, right?
So next place we will bump into each other is?
Yeah, you can decide.
Who knows?
Who knows?
we-
Nijmegen.
Nijmegen. Nah. Let's do the Caribbean.
All right.
Okay,
Thank
have a
you.
lovely day.